I'm Andrew Joseph Keith. I'm an artist and sculptor, and this video is going to be a little bit different. I am cleaning my studio this Friday, and so I thought I'd show you guys some of the process of just organizing things and talk about the benefits of just having a clean workspace as you're sculpting or creating whatever your creative endeavor is. It just helps if you have a space to do that where you enjoy being there and it's a nice space and a clean space. And I say that as somebody that struggles keeping things clean and keeping things organized. So it's a battle for me to remember to clean things up and stay organized, put things where they go. But every time that I do and I clean things up, it just feels so refreshing. Your mind feels clearer and it just feels better to be in that space when it's nice and clean. And the main thing for getting a place or a space organized is just have a place for everything and put everything in its place. So if you can just do that, have a place for everything in its place, then a lot of the disorder and chaos that comes from just having everything everywhere, not knowing where to find your tools or your books or your whatever it is, clay. I'm trying to work out a way where I have a place for all those different things. Now, we recently did move into a new home. So our first home, we were renting in a little 2-bedroom apartment over in Utah, and Utah was just getting crazy expensive, and we wanted for our next move to be into a actual house. And so we had to look all over the country because I work teaching online courses is where I get most of my income, but then also as an artist and sculptor and selling things online, things like that. I wasn't really tied to a location, so we were able to look all over the country, and we found a little house in Iowa, in Hardin County, Iowa. It's an old farmhouse. It's like 118 years old or something like that, and it came with 1.3 acres, which we're finding out is more than enough. But it's got a lot of land and some cool buildings, barns and things like that. I'm working on one of the bigger barns for making my studio space for things like stone sculpting and bigger projects. But right now I just have these 2 rooms that are kind of connected. Right now I'm actually filming and looking over. The camera is in this room that I'm cleaning right now. And so the camera's in this room that you're seeing me clean and organize, and then it's just pointing towards me, and there's kind of like this door frame in between the 2 rooms so that they can kind of be separate. And then just what I have in the background is just some black sheets that I've hung up like curtains and with some cheap hardware that I got from the dollar store. So that's basically my studio setup, and that's for recording and also for sculpting smaller pieces, things like this little caricature that I've done and other things like that. As far as the cleanup goes, I'm not the best, I'm not an expert at cleaning things, but just getting things organized, getting the garbage out, cleaning the floors. These floors are pretty nasty. There were some dogs here before, and I think they painted and didn't cover up the floors, and so even after I vacuum, there's still quite a bit of, they don't look that clean. But they're definitely cleaner than they were before. These floors could use a good washing or maybe just removal. We'll see about that. I just felt so much better after the space was cleaned, and so I wanted to make this video as kind of a motivation to say, if you can have a place, if you are lucky enough to have a space designated as your work area, this is where you create, this is where you sculpt or draw or paint or whatever your creative endeavor is. For me, video editing is also part of the creation, and so that's my desk there for editing videos. And if you have a space for that, and if you can keep that space organized and clean, then it's just so much, it just feels so much better, and it's easier to get work done. It's easier to not hate the process of just being there and having to work. And so it definitely looks a lot easier and faster when you speed it up 20 times, but how it goes, I think it ended up being like 3 hours, but I wasn't super like fast as I was cleaning. I was kind of taking my time. A lot of it was me just standing around thinking, where should this thing go in the house? And sometimes that would take a little bit of time, but here you can see the finished room. I have some, some pillows for sound, taking away the sound on the walls, and my bookshelf, some weights for stuff at home, though we have a gym membership, so I don't need to use that too much here. My Sculpt, yeah, it's just a space that was much worse. Carpets are still bad, but it was much worse. Now it's a little bit better, and hopefully this can motivate some of you to go and clean up your space, clean your room, as Jordan Peterson would say. So that's it for this video. Remember that if you're interested in learning sculpture, you can find my sculpting courses over at proko.com/sculpture and proko.com/portrait sculpt. And there's links in the description below. If you like content related to sculpting and creativity, then like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you around in future videos. Stay creative, stay productive. I'll see you in the next one.